Fake grapefruits! Fake! Liar! You liar!
Well, hello everyone. It is the zoo, and Trump is all go, no quit, and it's zoo time for me and you. What a weekend. Yes, I'm wearing my Marine Corps Semper Fi red shirt, signifying the danger, as well as being in Studio 27 with the red backdrop. It is, folks, all danger right now, all danger. There's a lot of worry, consternation, a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of people, well, wringing their brains dry of ideas about what the hell happened up in Pennsylvania. And I'll tell you what, folks, this is going to be one hell of a broadcast. We've got a lot of material to cover between me and the rest of the Prepared Mind staff around the world. We've been combing the news, combing the files, talking to experts, and getting answers. We want to leave conjecture behind when we've got facts. And when we don't have facts, we want to apply logic and reason to what happened, what is happening, and what is going to happen. And we have a lot of topics. But this is the zoo. So it's not just my show. It is your show. This is a chance where you get to shine by joining the show. And folks, we're going to have so many questions, so many comments, so many thoughts that we leave it up to you and the super chat button. We also have down below in the description, we've got Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal for people who want to get your question right on the screen. Now, I've got Darcy T starting off. Oh, shoot. And the Prepared Mother says, skip PayPal, skip YouTube, and go straight to the club. This website address right here will get you, if you want to get your questions and comments on the screen. It's the best way, truly the best way. Go ahead and put that up there. Again, Jolene, go ahead and leave it up there. If you want to be and we could even add to that, have your questions come on live. This is the live button, right? So yes, super chat donations right here, get you onto the screen and get your questions read. I want to start. We got Chin Music. He did a $55.56 super chat, and Darcy T did a $50 super chat to start the show. And as usual, and I'm going to tell you what, as usual, right? $50 or more buys me a Glenlivet 15-year single malt scotch. And man, I could use some drinks after everything that's gone off. Folks, the Trumpinator. I'll be back. He is still here, right? It's the Trump Bear. And I believe that was from Heidi sent that through to me. Good to have the Trumpinator on the channel, folks. I am stoked with what has happened, what has gone on. But we're going to start. I will enjoy the scotches, and I want to thank Darcy T and Chin Music for starting off. I'm going to do a 1-2 shot here just to get them down the hatch and get me lubricated verbally. And this one is from Chin Music. Thank you, sir, and Semper Fi. Woo! Like mother's milk. And this one is from Darcy T. Once again, 2 shots to start the show. God bless America. And tell you what, may as well say it, God bless Trump, because I believe, and I'm not an overtly religious person, but I think it was divine providence that Trump turned his head when he did, and that bullet, instead of hitting him in the side of the head, went past, pierced his ear, and down. Wow, what a crazy, wild show. So Darcy T has this to say: we have all seen the footage of Trump being shot at the rally and that the shooter is dead. Has anyone noticed that the shooter was in a BlackRock commercial in 2023? Weird coincidence? Darcy kicks it off right off the bat with something that sounds a little conspiratorial, right? I think it's Fascinating, right? Fascinating. Unbelievably strange that this happened. Yeah, it appears that Trump's shooter, the would-be failed assassin who now has had his life extinguished, was featured in a 2023 BlackRock ad. Now, BlackRock, folks, is the world's largest finance institution. They gather tons of money from states, from organizations, from individuals who want to invest in Wall Street. BlackRock is huge. They are massive into the diversity, equity, and inclusion market, forcing companies to go woke, or they will sell their stocks and not invest them. In other words, I consider it financial duress, coercion, and I dare say insider trading, forcing people under threat of financial retaliation. I don't like BlackRock at all. I really don't. They can kiss my ass. BlackRock also, folks, is a Biden funder, Biden supporter, and I just want to know, was Crook the killer? Was Crook his last name? Did I get that right? Ooh, man, it's Crook. The dude's name is Crook. Not that that's bad, but geez, that's pretty bad, huh? Good God. Is he going to be a BlackRock patsy in this? He was a loner in school. He wasn't liked. He was picked on. Sounds like a perfect patsy to be taken under the wing of the Light and the Loafers FBI and showing a good time. And 20-year-old guy, really? I mean, at least Lee Harvey Oswald was supposedly anti-American. I don't know. There's a lot more to this that's going to come out in the next few days. But for now, I wonder, the biggest conspiracy theory potential in this entire thing is that Crook was part of the BlackRock ad. Yes or no? And also, was he an FBI stooge? I don't know. I'm telling you, folks, I don't know. But we do have a lot more solid information and opinions on that. I just wanted to start off with that from Darcy T. Thank you very much for the great support. And yes, we are going to get into it. I want to head over now. Again, if you want your comments and thoughts on the screen and address your questions, your comments, your thoughts, go to this website address right down there. Now let's do this. Let's get to Chin Music. I want to know what he has to say. And folks, we've got a lot. We actually, and Uman, Jolene, Heidi has done a $5 Cash App donation as well. And Chin Music says, I am seething. Seething. That means, for those of you who don't have a thesaurus handy, seething means extremely pissed off with smoke roiling out of my ears. Chin Music did a $55.56 super chat donation. That's $50 plus a 556. He says, I am seething watching these Democrats rush to the microphone to, quote, thank God that Hitler wasn't killed, end quote. Could you possibly talk more out of both sides of your mouth? Can you imagine living such a turd of a life that you always have to obscure your intentions and lie constantly because no one wants what you are selling? What an abhorrent existence. We have been placed on the razor's edge we've been warning about. Stay frosty and alert. Be safe, friends. Great message from Mr. Chin. I am also seething at the absolute hypocrisy, the gaslighting. Yeah, the talking out of both sides of their neck, right? On the one hand, they want to say, oh, it's terrible. And in the next breath, they'll say, man, better luck next time, right? Geez, it's terrible that someone tried shooting President Trump, Hitler, because everyone knows Hitler should have been shot and killed before he did all of his damage. By the way, if it wasn't Hitler, it was going to be someone else. Foisted to the top because, folks, the Nazi regime in Germany was bigger than one man. It was bigger than one man. Hitler wasn't wealthy. Hitler wasn't rich. Hitler was just the front man who was supported by international bankers out of London and New York City. That's right. Germany was funded out of London and New York City banks who funded the Nazi regime, the rebuilding of the Nazi war machine, which was actually put in place to be a bulwark against the Soviet communists in Russia. Anyways, yes, we are on a razor's edge, folks. I am absolutely pissed off at the way this is being portrayed. I'm gonna call this person an imbecile. An imbecile. She's a CBS News reporter, folks. A CBS News reporter who instantly after the assassination attempt, after Trump was whisked off the stage, even though he stopped them to fist pump and tell everyone, fight, fight, fight. And he got over to the Trump mobile and again stood up above his Secret Service detail, above the height of the SUV, and raised his fist again and showed his face because he's not afraid. And pumped his fist again for America, right? After he did that, got on the thing, they took him to the hospital, made sure that he didn't have any more holes in him he wasn't aware of. And yes, you can be shot and not realize it, folks. It's called shock. Anyways, no other holes that I could tell inside, no more perforations of President Trump. But this stupid bitch from CBS said that he didn't take the time to lower the temperature. The fucking man was just shot through a portion of his head known as the ear. And if he hadn't moved and leaned forward and looked to his right, do it. Try looking to your right as far as you can, and you move and lean forward when you do. That's why the bullet went through his ear and not through the middle of his fucking cranium. The stupid bitch says, well, he should have taken the opportunity to lower the temperature. Unbelievable, folks. The hypocrisy, the stupidity of these people. We're on the razor's edge. All they can do is criticize the man for being strong, standing up, letting his people see him, right? His supporters see that he's alive, that he's strong, that he's not hurt, and that he cares, right? That he's not cowering, he's not shrinking back. And they want to criticize him. Right the fuck away. Criticize the man. Yeah, I'm seething, dude. Right? Instantly, I went on social media in my area. I had some friends do the same thing and listen to what the liberals that they had in their business contacts were saying. Things like, better luck next time. Maybe they'll get him. Fingers crossed. Putting shit like that out there. Damn it, they missed. Right? I'll tell you why. What is going on, folks? And the razor's edge we've been expecting, and I've been forecasting and broadcasting just like you all have, that this was coming, that an assassination attempt was due. It's due. Why? Because Biden has been an awful candidate. He's the best the Democrats have, but awful. He failed at the debate. And then he failed to redeem himself. Then he failed at the NATO press conference when he called Zelensky Putin. And then he failed again at his big boy presser when he called the Vice President Trump. He is a laughingstock. He is a buffoon. He is a dementia-riddled, dementia-addled, old, doddering fool. And the Democrats know it. This was their last chance. Well, let's just say that was their first chance to put a bullet through him. And they missed by literally 1 second. If he had fired 1 second earlier, he may have hit Trump right in the head. Instead, it went through his ear, folks. Not past his ear, but through his freaking ear. And there are actually pictures. Someone snapped a photo at that exact moment and was able to see the bullet streaking through the frame after it exited Trump's ear. I don't think it was photoshopped. It's been presented by many, shall we say, more reliable media sources than not. Now, could it be that it was taking a little bit of Trump flesh and that's what we were seeing as it shot out? It could. All I know, folks, is it doesn't get any closer. And I will say this, in my opinion, this couldn't have been a better shot. There is no way that this shot could have been better. And bear with me as I explain this. Bear with me. If Trump had been shot at and it was a clean miss, guess what? People would have been scared. People would have been pissed. But that's a big difference between being shot and drawing blood. Because Trump went up, put his hand to his head, drug his fingers across his face, got blood on his face. Blood red. Hence all of the red in this show. Gets people's attention. It makes it more real. It's an alert. It's danger. Red is danger because it's blood. That alerted the entire country to the danger that Trump is in, that the country is in, and it's going to draw a lot more sympathy. And I don't mean that in a sad way, but sympathy or being sympathetic or understanding or aligning oneself with sympathetically to what is happening to this country. A Democrat, a lunatic Democrat has drawn blood on Trump. And the world saw it on his face, on the side of his head, and saw how strong he is. There couldn't be a stronger message, I don't think, without critically injuring President Trump. Period. So for the purposes of political advantage and gain, Trump getting a fucking pierced ear is powerful. For certain demographics that think that they are being picked on and shot at too much, guess what? They're going to sympathize with this. They're going to understand this, and they're going to sympathize or side with Trump. It's crazy, folks. Psychology is psychology. Now, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe because you cannot put comments down below unless you're a subscriber. If you're new to the channel, share that internet address with everyone you know to make sure they're getting the message that we are in deep trouble. This is a code red alert to the world. Shit is getting real. And if you have something to say, hit the super chat button or bam, as Jolene's going to put up on the screen, the where to go to get your comments in. Donating to the channel keeps us live, keeps us on. Years ago, YouTube, social media, big tech like Google, they started cutting all of our funding so we can't keep on the air. You guys keep us going. And every Sunday, your questions fund this channel. Bam, just like that. Just like that. So, very good. Now, let me calm the fuck down here and take a drink. I'm telling you that I've only had one other drink today, knowing I needed to have my wits about me, at least until I got to the show. But I am wound up, tight as a drum, folks. I will not be going off with a bunch of hyperbole, a bunch of conspiracy theory. I want to keep this as factual as possible. If you guys have conspiracy theories, I want to see them up here because we have been digging. Uman may or may not come on live. I don't know. It's up to him. But he's got strong thoughts as well. And there, like I said, there are other experts chiming in, security experts, former military. And I unfortunately have not heard from anyone directly who was at the rally. But that's okay, folks. We got some information directly from those who were at the rally. So let's do this. Heidi, H3 put up a $5 super chat to CashApp. And she says, John, what do you think about the picture of a hole in Trump's coat? Yes, she sent me a picture of that. It's a close-up of Trump and then a close-up of his coat. It looks and appears to have a hole in it, in the side. Now, I saw a very telling picture of Trump from this morning, allegedly, in a golf cart, allegedly, so he wouldn't miss his 9 a.m. tea time. Apparently, Trump played a round of golf. That is badass, folks. Someone took a fucking shot at the man. And he's out playing golf the next morning. 14 hours later, he's on the course. Now, was that a hole in his coat? There is no secondary authoritative confirmation that the dark spot on the coat, which could be a hole, truly was a hole. But it is believable because several shots were fired. And you can get shot through the fabric of what you're wearing and have it miss you. Now, Trump, as he was being led to the car, tackled on the ground, was being patted down, and because the Secret Service, or bodyguards, if you will, that's part of their protocol. If someone takes a shot while executing the protective extraction from a scene, they check for other holes. Anyways, the hole, it's interesting. I would like to hear what that was about, or if someone photoshopped and put that out there. Thank you very much, Heidi. I appreciate it so much. You and everyone else are fantastic. Now, it is Sunday Night Live. Let's do this. Let us go. And what else are we going to talk about? We're at 410 people live. I think we should hit well over 500 today. We've just started. We're just at the 20-minute mark. Let's go with it. Jolene, man, who wants to step up? And it's Chester Wolf, the Griffin. Good to see you back. He's been a member, folks, for 33 months, a YouTube member. And he says, this is an interesting time to be alive. You ain't shitting, man. Okay, I've gone back through my life. This is probably more important than 9/11 even. But it was a fail, whereas 9/11 was successful in bringing America under more totalitarian control because of what happened after that. The Patriot Act, the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, the government passing rules to allow them to lie to us directly, right? Right. Suspension of certain portions of the Constitution. But going back in my life, Ronald Reagan did get shot. Not on live TV, but it was filmed, of course. But it wasn't live on TV for the whole planet to watch because it was a much quieter assassination attempt. But not since JFK, I don't think, is something as dangerous as this happened. JFK was trying to bring down the military-industrial complex, which we were warned about by President Dwight D. Eisenhower, former commanding general of the Supreme Allied Forces of World War II, that destroyed the Nazi war machine, the army. And only the army, not the control mechanism behind the Nazis. That's another story for another day. But Trump being shot, the assassination attempt, in a very public and brutal fashion, is incredible. To miss a headshot by a couple of inches is incredible. But for a moment, let us consider. What would have happened if Trump had been hit in the side of the head. Here, brains would have come out the other side. On film, on camera. Cameras from behind, the left, the right, and dead on. What message would that have sent to the world? You will not stand up to the Democrats. You will not stand up to the bureaucracy. You will not stand up to the deep state organization. The deep state, which is, despite the lies of the mainstream media, a very real organization that is very real and powerful and has been even spoken of in glowing terms in our own United States House of Representatives in Congress. Here is an excerpt.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the president.
And the president. They're dedicated to carrying out the orders of the president. Interesting statement, is it not? Is it not? I mean, let me read you this before we get to the next super chat. And Jolene Uman, stand by. We're going to do that. Just 12 days ago, folks, 12 days ago, there's that actress from Orange is the New Black. And she went public with her command to Joe Biden. And she's not a member of the deep state. She's just an idiot actress. But she said this, and it's shared by millions of radical, whacked out of their brain, extreme anti-American Democrats. She said, quote, "You now have the right to take that bitch Trump out. Blow him up." It sounds to me like all the Democrats were on board with this assassination attempt, folks, based on what's coming out of, well, just idiots on the street. And a lot of them are professional business people that I'm aware of, as well as Hollyweird, as well as Democrats and their staffers in Washington, D.C., folks. Right? Prove me wrong. Bette Midler, Robert De Niro, Joy Reid, Meathead Bob Reiner, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar of The View, et cetera, and et cetera. Very wild, folks. Very, very crazy. And I want to thank John. Everyone knows. No, nobody knows. He just sent a $200 super chat donation through Zelle. Thank you very much, John. You know who you are, brother. Thank you. And let us continue. If we see something, Jolene, John has a codified top secret name that comes through the super chats or through the regular comment section. You may catch his question. Or you could just email me direct with the question. John, you know who you are. Okay. For now, let's do another super chat from somewhere else out there in the world. Be sure and hit the thumbs up, folks. Be sure and share that internet address. We need to get this information out. And pow. No, not him, Uman. Jeff Poor with a $2 super chat donation says the Angels protected Trump. He's not talking about the Anaheim Angels or the California Angels. He's not talking about the Hells Angels. He's talking about, in my opinion, divine providence. In America's history, there have been many examples of political, shall we say, people that have spoken about divine providence, about being visited by or protected by. And in this case, folks, I believe exactly in that. Like I said, I'm not overly religious. I'm kind of a spiritual guy, and I keep it to myself. But in this instance, what other explanation, man? This guy could have drilled President Trump and ended, because there is no other candidate at this time, folks. At this point in history, there is no other candidate. It wouldn't be anyone, not even Governor DeSantis has the charm, charisma, and the attraction that Trump is having and the connection Trump is having with the American people. Nobody can be Trump at this point, folks. Only Trump can be Trump. And if they had taken him out, right, and that's why I've gotten a lot of messages today sharing Jeff Poor's or Jeff Poor, that opinion. Thank you, sir, very much. Let us continue if we shall. And the code number is J with a bunch of numbers behind it. That's who that John is. And I always say John Solange. Corey became a YouTube member today. Thank you, Corey, very much. Everything you guys do helps keep me in this chair, in this studio, or in the bunker, talking about what's going on. And clarion call. Warning to everybody. This is serious business. This is, in my opinion, scorched earth is now playing out. We'll talk more about that if someone brings up the topic. Thank you, Jolene, very much. Keep me informed of what's going on behind the scenes. I've got to focus on the thoughts because, well, I need to focus on my thoughts. And I do want to thank Uman very much for always being here, if needed, 7 days a week. The man already works 60 hours a week in his own private business, and then he's here for us, folks. That's dedication. Same with Jolene, the prepared mother. She works 2 jobs on her own and 3 jobs counting what she does with the Prepared Mind channel. That's how dedicated people are, folks. Thank you guys very much. You're the 2 big players behind the scenes. All right, Super Chat donation. What is up? Who is up next? What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? And it's our good friend from the Netherlands. It is Remy Marsh with a €22 Super Chat donation. And he says, crazy times with Trump, a little support from the Netherlands. Remy, thank you, brother, very much. Yesterday, when I came on for about 40 minutes, right after the Trump assassination failure, I came on and we got some support from Sweden that I saw. I was flying solo. Uman was tied up in family affairs. Jolene did come on, and I was scanning the comments and saw, yeah, folks, and I want to cover this. The rest of the world gives a shit about America. Yes, a lot of times the Europeans refer to Americans as the ugly Americans. You know who they're talking about? The assholes, not the respectful, kind, generous, good quality Americans. They just don't like the assholes. And I don't like them either, Remy. There's a lot of ugly Americans, and we're seeing it. Now, that said, I was asked the question last night, and the question that I received, this was after the broadcast, was, why would the rest of the world give a shit? Because the United States of America was the first to throw off the shackles of tyranny back in 1776 and then in the Revolutionary War. And after that, other aristocratic and, shall we say, royal regimes let go. The French were next, and they killed the king there. That was regicide as well as bitchicide when they took the head of Marie Antoinette and removed it from her body. But everywhere else around the world, folks, from that point forward, the kings and queens said, okay, you guys, you want to run your own affairs? Fine. You can have parliament. You can have voting and you can have elected representatives. And they did. They let go. So the rest of the world has looked to the United States of America as a source and inspiration for freedom and liberty. So in Europe, where Remy's at and other places, guess what they don't have? They don't have the guaranteed, recognized freedom of speech from the Almighty. But they do have their own free speech to certain degrees and limitations, and in some cases more, and in some cases less, as well as other concepts that were brought about through the philosophy that was shared in the Declaration and, again, our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. So the rest of the world gives a shit, because if America falls, then who is the world going to look to for liberty, freedom, and what to do about tyranny? So in America, as we get closer and closer to tyranny, there is more and more talk of secession, a partisan conflict that is left versus right in the streets, as well as an all-out potential civil war, referred to as CW in the codes. It can happen. We can have a civil war. More than likely, we would have a war over secession, or states saying, you know what? F you, Washington, D.C. We don't need to be with you. We are exercising our right to throw you off as a tyrannical form of government, and we will make our own forms of government. And I did listen to a European, an Englishman, who said, the United States is strange. The reason so many people don't ever leave the United States is it's such a vast country. And every state is like its own country. They're just a little different. So they have all the fun they need in the United States of America. Well, guess what? He was incorrect. In the United States of America, each state is a state, capital S, its own individual sovereign nation that has joined a federation and agreed through that joining and ratification become a member state to the United States. But each state is supposed to be of and by its own sovereignty, an individual country that is bound to the other countries only by agreement and its admission and union by accepting the principles of the United States Constitution, having their own constitutions, which create individual sovereign republics. And the United States government out of Washington, D.C., was only supposed to represent the 50 states around the world on a national level, not to be submissive, subservient, and controlled in every aspect of our lives by Washington, D.C. They have, through sophistry, lies, and more lies, continued to try and convince the American people that Washington, D.C. is the one, only, and true authority in this country, when in fact they are not. And they should have no control over the people. Read the Constitution. It's right here. This cute little book has the Constitution in it. Nothing in there does it say the United States government may tell us what to do. Anyways, Rainy Mersch, great to see you back on the channel, man. Be very safe over in the Netherlands. Good luck with Geert Wilders and other great leaders who are looking for liberty and freedom from tyranny and the invitation to destroy Europe with unmitigated migration and admission of terrorists into the great countries of Europe. Let us continue if we shall. And we're almost at 500 people live. I see 480 live right now. Hit that internet address above and share it with everyone you know. And also thumbs up and be a subscriber. Eng1142 has become a YouTube member. Bam! Thank you for joining the family. If you want to be a premium member and join us Monday through Friday for $2 a month, you can do that also at thepreparedmind.club. And Jolene Pow is on it today with the buttons, or maybe that's Uman, I don't know. But anyways, that is our premium website, thepreparedmind.club. And you can join us live Monday through Friday, live daily as well, or just check in whenever you want and see what's going on. Got lots of stuff there. The preparedmind.club is also your prepper superstore for getting the food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and means of self-defense items that we are allowed to link to. And trust me, the left, the Democrats, social media, big tech is trying to shut us down constantly. It is only because you guys support us that we stay there and we're able to keep the channel up by avoiding and dodging all of the bullets they send at us. Good golly. Okay, Jolene Uman, who's up next? Pow, never obey, another first-time super chat donation. You hit that button, and it's a $5 super chat, and he says, "Hey, big guy." And that means, while this is the first time I've seen a donation, he knows who I am. I'm 6'6", 280 pounds of pissed off American. And he says, "I'm fucking pissed off, man. This crap should never happen to either side, but can't deny that Trump has balls of steel. MAGA, make America great again. I can't believe that so many Democrats, the idiot media, left-wing fruits and fools everywhere across this nation who are registered, check, as Democrats, they think that make America great again is some code word for white supremacy, Nazism, anti-black, anti-brown, anti-this, anti-that. Well, it means what it says, make America great again. Is America great right now? No, it is not. Our country has been invaded by over 15 million illegals from around the world, thanks to Joe Biden, who, by the way, this week has created an app. That's correct. He's created an app. Well, what does he need an app for? Well, so that illegals can get into this country even more illegally and faster by filling out paperwork or filling out electronic information on an app. I guess they get to the border and they go, "See, Joe Biden let me in. Here it is." I'm sure they'll just screenshot it and share it. And they'll just let the same person in 500 times. The same way Democrats in their voting districts let the same person vote hundreds of times. If possible, hell, just keep running their ballots through. No problem there. Yeah, I'm fucking pissed off too, never obey. And Trump does have balls of steel, folks. He does. Now, if someone shot at me, you bet your ass I would take cover, especially if I got perforated somewhere on my body. Right? But yeah, he was. Now, I heard a lot of people yesterday complain that the Secret Service did not act fast enough. Now, if the president had Secret Service surrounding him at all times, he would look weak. So the president wants to look strong, confident, competent, and capable. All those things that Biden is not. But the Secret Service or private security detail, because I don't know who was and wasn't Secret Service. And I don't know who was and wasn't private security detail. Because Trump does not have a full contingency of Secret Service because the Democrats have removed that. Right? He should, as a presidential candidate, former president, out on the campaign, have full detail. And we learned months and months ago that Trump has his own as well. But they were on that stage nearly instantly. And they covered him. And he stood up, balls of steel. And he said, stop, 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 right? And raised his fist and started shouting, fight, right? Fight, fight. And then when he got to the Trump mobile and he stood up on the step side of the vehicle and put his head above the level of the vehicle, making himself a target, if you will, for all that would shoot him. And of course, there were no other people on the bubble, but for all his supporters to see that he's not afraid, that he's not a coward, that he was fine. That takes balls, folks, because if there were secondary shooters, he made himself a target again. And if there was a secondary shooter that was following, waiting for an opportunity, that would have been it. But Trump is not afraid, and he doesn't want to appear afraid or fearful. Dude's a stud, period. Dude's a stud. Thank you, Never Obey. Jolene Uman, where are we rolling next? What topic is next? Because there are a lot of topics. Matt D, $20 super chat donation. Thank you. You are another, all of you, keeping this channel rolling. He says, what the heck family is going on? I couldn't sleep last night. Tell you what, I had a hell of a time sleeping. Tossed and turned all night thinking, what is happening? What the heck family is going on? I tell you what, you know what this is? It is scorched earth, Matt. You want to know what's going on? Scorched earth. Biden is an awful candidate. He's losing. And I actually, look, today I went out and I met with Republicans who are very soft. Oh, they're definitely voting Trump now. There was never any question about that. But they are hardcore MAGA now. Right? They're like, hey, if I wasn't before, I am now. But he said, what is going on? Right? Why would they do this? It's scorched earth. Joe Biden lost the debate. Horrifyingly bad. Even though the mainstream media tried presenting it as, man, he was rock solid. Are you kidding me? Then again, he stepped in it. Right? They don't have a better candidate. Even after those performances, they look around and go, who could replace him? Everyone polls even worse than Biden. What does that say about Biden? What does that say about the rest of the candidates, like Camel Toes and Gavin Gruesome Newsom and Gretchen the Grinch Whitmore and any other would-be Democrat? They're awful. So I had a friend look at me today while meeting about this. Said, you know what? I think I know what's gone. If they can't win, right? They'll destroy everything, go scorched earth. But they tried with the assassination, right? If they could get rid of Trump, perhaps they can win. Perhaps they can poll better. Perhaps they can get it close enough that a cheat would bring them over the top. But as it is, Joe Biden, folks, came out and talked about how we shouldn't have this kind of violence. Who's been promoting this violence? Who has been asking for it? Who has been saying we need to harass all Republicans? All, not just elected officials, but any Republican you see, harass them in a restaurant, in a store, at their home, at their job, calling for absolute violence, right? You bet. It's scorched earth, and they will destroy everything. And this is what it means, is if I can't have it, you can't have it. That's what they mean by that. They want to put as much pain to us all. That's what's going on. I tell you what, if DeSantis had to step up and be the candidate, he would beat Biden. And he would beat Gavin Newsom. He's already beaten him in a mock debate they did together, and he mopped the floor. Now, of course, it wouldn't be as big of a blowout as we're going to have, but they will destroy everyone and everything. Between now and Election Day, expect some massive, painful economic news, monetary news, etc. That's one way they can hurt us all. Allowing a huge or causing a huge false flag cyber attack is a very big potential, which is why I say everybody should be prepared, whether it's domestic or foreign-born terrorism. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. And your plan if shit goes south. Thank you, Matt D. Jolene, Uman, who's up next? I know we got a lot to talk about. And Chester Wolf the Griffin is a Prepared Mind membership member now. And he's been a great loyal supporter. Thank you, Chester Wolf. Let us continue if we shall. It's Corsair Trainers with a $10 super chat. And he says, remember, the bad guys only have to be good or lucky once. And he couldn't be more correct. Whether or not you choose to believe that the 20-year-old numbskull was a BlackRock financial aid stooge brought in, some of the conspiracy theories, which are attractive, no doubt, but they're just conspiracy theories, that he had an FBI handler, that he has been on the FBI radar. Perhaps he's had a manifesto come out. Perhaps this and that, right? And they're sanitizing everything about this guy. The first thing they release is his name and that he's a registered Republican, even though he's also a contributor to the Democrat Party with money. Well, money talks and bullshit walks. A lot of Democrats register Republicans so they can vote in the primary to fuck up the Republicans. Now, when it comes to what Corsair is talking about, you only have to be good or lucky once. So whether it is an FBI or government or false flag or deep state puppet that is manipulated into attempting an assassination, whether or not, right? Or whether the person really is just an off-the-hook, crazy-ass liberal who has listened to Biden, listened to Pelosi and other congressmen, listened to the mainstream media, listened to entertainment people, all hinting, all implying, all actually openly demanding the murder of Trump. Right? You only have to be good or lucky once. And he's absolutely correct. Whether it's professional or amateur. Now, after JFK was assassinated, John F. Kennedy, his brother RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, was assassinated because he was making a move to run for the president of the United States of America. He was going to run in the 72 election, or maybe it was the 68. In any event, the point is he was killed by a guy named Sirhan Sirhan. Rather an interesting name when your first name is your last name, and you don't give an assassin a middle name. Typically, they do that. Now, Sirhan Sirhan had a pistol, and while RFK wasn't an announced presidential candidate that was running, it was not at a campaign, he got in close with a pistol and wiped him out. Now, I'm going to leave behind all the conspiracy theories on Sirhan Sirhan and some things he said. We'll just say that he was just an average idiot who got lucky. And he did. He killed Robert Kennedy. That was it. That was absolutely it. The bad guys only have to be good or lucky one time, one bullet. And I'll tell you what, Corsair, yesterday, Trump was very fortunate. And I once again, it was a miracle that he turned his head when he did and leaned forward when he did. I think that the shot fired was somewhere between 200 and 300 yards away. I have not studied it with a scaled ruler. But from the time he pulled the trigger to the time the bullet went whizzing through Trump's ear, it would have taken probably a good second. And that's it. There is travel time for bullets when you're talking hundreds of yards, folks. It's not instantaneous. It's not a laser. It takes a moment for the bullet to get there. Whew, at 3,500 feet per second, thereabouts, 32 to 35. Anyways, Corsair, thank you for the great super chat donation and also for working behind the scenes to make sure we have good and accurate information, thoughts, ideas about what the hell happened. All right. Jolene Uman. We have Heidi Hunter. It says, I wonder if Trump felt the hand of an angel that turned his head. I have no clue. Hey, he decided it was time to look at one of the screens for one of his charts, and he turned his head and leaned forward just barely, and the bullet went through his ear. Wow. Unbelievable. We're right at 500 people live. What the heck? Let's go over the top and down the road. Share the internet address, please. Get it out there. We need more people hearing this and talking about it. Wild stuff, folks. Wild stuff. Now, real quick, Joe Biden had this to say today. Don't make assumptions about his motive. Talking about the killer, the would-be assassin. Don't make assumptions about his motive. Why not? Why not make some assumptions? He donates to the Democrats. He was in a BlackRock commercial. He took a shot at the fucking president, President Trump. We can make a lot of assumptions about him. This is more gas lighting bullshit from Democrats and the media. But this was Joe Biden. His motive was murder. His motive was remove Trump from the race. His motive was remove Trump from the planet. And it seems like, well, he could have been following Biden's commands about making Trump, putting Trump in the bullseye. If you look through a scope, it looks kind of like a dartboard. Right in the middle. Looks kind of like a bullseye to me. Now, how about this? When it comes to Project 2025, Agenda 2025, or whatever they want to call it, every Democrat out there is making every assumption, 100% assumption about 2025 and about Trump, saying he's going to have all gays locked up. He's going to have all the LGBT people re-educated. He's going to have all of this and all of that. And he's going to do this and do that, right? Every kid is going to be issued a weapon in school, right? That's all they do is make assumptions. It's bullshit. Anyways, let's do this. More super chats. What do you guys want to talk about? It is Sunday Night Live, and it is your show. And Dan Erickson checks in this week with a 556 super chat donation. And he says, geez, you called that one. I'm sure it won't be the last attempt. I'm sure it won't as well. Now, we all know that Hitler had an assassination attempt. It was under Operation Valkyrie. But that wasn't the only attempt. Most people are surprised to learn that there was at least 12, if not closer to 20, distinct, separate assassination attempts and, shall we say, conspiracies against Hitler. It's just we only ever heard about the one that actually blew him up, though it didn't kill him. How many assassination attempts have there been made that we don't know about, that are stopped by one thing or another? Maybe Trump changes his schedule, his plans. Maybe they got called into work that day instead of being allowed to go and kill someone. Maybe they didn't take their medication, went crazy, and quit taking their trans medicine and killed their parents instead. You know, we could make some assumptions, can we not, that there were more people planning and wanting to do this than we're reading and hearing about. Crazy stuff, folks. Yes, Dan, I tell you, Trump should be very worried. But I'll tell you what, rather than cowering, Trump said nope, and he's heading to, folks, he's heading to the Republican National Convention. He's going right there. He is not going to stop. He's not going to stop. And H3 Heidi did another $2 super chat donation. Okay. It's not the last attempt. But he says, you know, I'm not going to let these people scare me. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. And instead of hiding in his basement the way Joe Biden does, he's going right to the RNC, the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. He's going there now. He's not going to cower. He's going to go right back out in front of the public, in front of the party, in front of his supporters, in front of the world. He's not afraid, folks, and that's good. but he is opening himself to more public, shall we say, scrutiny of the bullseye. Let's keep our fingers crossed, folks, say our prayers, and hope that, hey, guess what? He doesn't get caught. Now, Big John sent me a private message, and he starts with, I dropped a few bucks through Zelle, a $200 super chat donation. And he says, fuck YouTube. And he said, Trump played it so badass, throwing up the fist and basically giving them the missed me. I don't even know if I can say that word. Missed me, fuckers. Only he said F at GGOT. I know that that the algorithms of YouTube won't allow me to say such a controversial F word. Anyways, thank you, John. He says, you missed me. Trump truly has on the armor of God. God bless him, and God bless the USA. That's right, not the US. God bless the United States of America, the USA. The US is Washington, D.C. The USA is all of us. He says, thanks for everything you do, John. Please be careful, especially after what Zelensky did to Gonzalo Lira earlier this year and what these trash bags did to Trump. Things are going to get crazier, I fear. May God bless us all. And he is JAYCE1701 in the comments. Thank you again, John. Now, what is he talking about, Gonzalo Lira? Well, he was an independent, right-wing member of the media. Kind of like me. I'm a right-winger, even though I'm not violent and not calling for violence or anything like that. But I'm a right-winger. I guess my very nature as a white Christian male in the United States of America makes me the enemy of all fruitcake Democrats. Anyways, the point is that Gonzalo Lira was arrested and killed by Zelensky. He died in Zelensky's prison for being a reporter and criticizing Zelensky. Well, I'll criticize Zelensky, who is himself a light in the loafers butt pirate of a fruitcake, and I will criticize Potato Joe Biden, Let's Go Brandon, the idiot, and everyone else that deserves criticism. Have no fear. I do not fear, folks. There are very few things I haven't done in my life that any man would want to do. And I'm talking about just about everything a human being would want to do as a man, I have done, with the very few exceptions. I have not transited the Panama Canal. I have not sailed through the South Pacific and around the world. I think I've done everything else. I think I've covered everything else. That's all that's left. That's all that's left. But yeah, otherwise, I've done it all. I haven't driven a tank. I've never pushed the go button at one of the Elon Musk's rocket launches. I mean, there's some stuff I haven't done, but as far as macho manly shit, pretty sure I've done it all. So I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to fight for what is right, for what men should fight for, their own freedom, liberty, and for those that they love and their country. That's what I'm going to continue to do because that's what I like to do. We're at the 1 hour mark, folks. 511 people live right now. Share that internet address. It's up there. And hit the subscribe button and thumbs up down below. That's what you need to do. Share the address with friends, family, coworkers, even people you don't like. Fuck them. Send them the internet address anyway and say, why don't you come here? Subscribe. Put your comments on there and see what people think. Read what the other side is thinking. But mostly I'm concerned about lightweight Republicans who don't really get it yet, who don't see the danger. It's all danger, folks. It is red flashing right now. Danger as we get closer to the 2024 election. They tried killing Trump. That's pretty damn ballsy on their part. And they know who they are. We haven't even talked about the sniper, anti-sniper situation, eyewitnesses to what was going on, a policeman who saw the guy on the roof with the gun. There's a lot to talk about, but it's your show on Sunday Night Live. Trump is all go, no quit. We're in the zoo. We're not going to quit. What do you want to talk about? Jolene, man, next. Luke Thompson checks in this week, and Luke is a great supporter of the channel. $5 super chat. He said, who is going to be Trump's vice president? He's going to announce it at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. I think it's going to be Ben Carson. I do. I think that all the other names that were presented are for public consumption, consideration, debate, and to give the media something to talk about, to keep bringing up Trump and who will be his vice president. It's a great way to rather trick them into asking the question. I think it's going to be Ben Carson. That's my pick. Let us move on if we shall. Lots to talk about. Let's go back to the question. Let's go back to the question. I apologize. If we can get on there. Who is going to be Trump's vice president? Asked Luke Thompson, who's not afraid to put his face in the box and put his name up there. The vice president now has a lot more meaning, doesn't it? We know that if a sitting president is assassinated or dies in office or is removed with the 25th Amendment, that the vice president steps up into the position of president of the United States. Right? So whoever Trump picks better be a real hard-ass, right-wing, true conservative, Constitution-loving American who recognizes that the Declaration of Independence is part of our law, customs, traditions, and culture. No wannabe, could be, middle-of-the-road rhino sacks of shit. At this point, all rhinos are never Trumpers. Don't count on them for shit. There are a number of U.S. senators who have not endorsed Trump, who will never endorse Trump, as well as congressmen and other governors, because they are a bunch of limp-wristed, light in their loafers, wearing their underwear way too tight anti-Trumpers. So why do we need them anyways? They're not going to vote for Trump anyways. You won't win them over anyways, because either you like Trump and vote on the ticket for Trump, or you hate Trump, and they will never vote anyway. So don't put in a candy-ass, middle-of-the-road Republican for vice president. Pick someone with some balls and some brains, please. That's why I say Ben Carson. We don't need any slick-ass, plastic banana, good time, rock and roll, Persian bazaar bullshit artist as a Veep, or a turncoat wannabe Christian sack of shit like Mike Pence was. I think I've made my opinion clear. Ooh man, have I made myself clear? Ooh man says yes. I've made my opinion pretty fucking clear. All right. And folks, look, my job is to be informative, entertaining, to bring you facts as well as some of my own opinions. But this is Sunday Night Live, where your questions and your opinions can be right here where Luke is. Let's go with the next one. I think that was our good buddy El, and I'm going to try and say his name properly. The next super chat is El Cuarenta. I do not have a good Spanish-speaking voice. El Cuarenta. He says, mass immigration fixes low military numbers and demographic issues due to DINK. Not to mention Americans don't want to do labor jobs. Thoughts? Oh, I do. Very much so. Now, I want to make this clear. I am a general contractor, and I've been a general contractor for 20 fucking years. I've been in construction for 30 fucking years, with some exceptions where I did other things as well, like started going to law school and realized that lawyers are absolute trash in person, and it's not just a joke. But let's start with DINK. A DINK is a dual income, no kids. Low military numbers. Let's start with that. Mass immigration does not fix low military numbers. You know what makes military numbers go up? A bad economy where young men coming out of high school don't have a lot of prospects, and they'll join the military. But they won't do it with a military that wants them to cut their dicks off, literally, and their balls, and take gender transformation drugs. Right? Who wants to join an organization that wants you to cut off your balls and pushes in your face diversity, equity, inclusion, critical race theory, anti-white, anti-American bullshit being led by actual communist officers in the Pentagon? Who wants to join into that fucking military? Has nothing to do with mass immigration, El Cuarenta. Well, I think I said it right that time. No, it has to do with leadership in Washington from the presidency, leadership in the officer corps at the Pentagon, and also the condition of our economy. You can fix that shit right away with real leadership. Look, folks, we're going to try and put Trump back in the White House. He should fire all of the generals. Day one, you're out. All the 4-star generals, you're instantly retired. Done. And start looking at some of the lower generals, the brigadiers and some of the earlier generals, and then bring them into the White House. Literally. They can come in the White House through the tunnels and come up to the main floor, go into the Oval Office, and be told, you will take an oath right now and swear allegiance to the United States of America, not to the United States government. You will obey your oath. And if you are caught one time, being a communist, in word or deed, you will have a one-way trip to Guantanamo. Because to be a communist is to be a traitor to this country. Because communism is anti-America, anti-freedom, and anti-constitution, all rolled up in one. You cannot serve in the military or in Congress as a communist or the White House. Now, I want to make myself very clear. Americans who love this country will join the military, whether or not there's a good economy or not, in great numbers. And now with reference to the dinks, the dual income, no kids. I bet you didn't think I knew what a dink was, did you, El Corrente? Anyways, yeah. Having children in America is expensive. Why? Look, when I had my 2 sons in 1999, 2001, guess what? I actually had what's known as an HMO. Not a homo, but an HMO, right? Health Maintenance Organization. My kids cost $0. We could afford healthcare 24 years ago. Today, I can't afford, I cannot. I have to, but I cannot afford healthcare for just myself, much less a family, and paying the deductible to have your kid. Meanwhile, illegals that are here, El Corrente, get free healthcare. They get free money, free transportation, free housing, free everything. American citizens would have no problem having lots of sex, lots of babies if everything was free. So you punish Americans and you reward criminals. Mass immigration that is illegal is criminal. It is not acceptable under any circumstance because it is criminal. Now, he says not to mention Americans don't want to do labor jobs. Thoughts? Incorrect. Now, in construction, as I said, I'm a general contractor. I am working in the world of construction and contracting right now. Many of the laborers that get hired are hired legally by a legal American construction company who have to have proper insurances, all the different various insurances that a contractor must have, subcontractor, to work for me. And whether they're Americans or from other countries, I'm glad to have them, because the ones who are from other countries are here legally with green cards who have not broken the law, and they get hired. Sometimes their English ain't so great, but there are plenty of folks, black, white, Native Americans, as well as black, Native. Yeah, I think I got it covered. Everybody like labor jobs. It's fucking hard work, folks. Sweaty, nasty, grimy, hard work, but it's very rewarding, and you get paid well in construction. And you don't have to join a union to do it, but some jobs are union jobs. You don't need a huge education to be, but the education comes at the end of a shovel. At the end of a long day where your shirt is soaked with sweat and your back is just drenched wet and you're beat down, covered in dirt, sawdust, and you're sunburned, and it hurts. But it is a very rewarding job, and Americans do want labor jobs. Not everyone, but a lot of us enjoy it. I got out of the military, folks, got into construction. Went into studying law and a number of other things. Messed around in the, shall we say, petrochemical industry, learned quite a bit about that world, and then rejoined 100% again the construction world, real estate investment, real estate development, contracting, bureaucracy, dealing with government, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Getting involved in politics also, all while maintaining my contractor's license. But always, it's good to get dirty and to get my hands into it. In fact, I think this week I'll probably do it again. Anyways, a $4.99 super chat donation. El Cuarenta, you did that again last week. You asked a very provocative question, and I'll answer him. I'm not afraid. I don't want illegals here. They can fuck off. Go back to the border and come in properly. Because everyone who came here properly from other countries, guess what? They don't fucking like them. They don't like them because they're criminals and illegals. And anyone who has put in the time, effort to get here legally and work and pay their taxes, they don't like people coming here freeloading off of them. Fuck them. They don't fix anything. In fact, we have a whole lot of rape, murder, robbery, drug pushing, prostitution, trafficking of human beings. That is, selling of people into slavery and sex slavery because of these fucking illegals. Don't tell me it fixes any fucking thing in my country. And I'm not mad at you, El Cuarenta. I know that your question is honest and it comes from a place because many people in the media, in entertainment, and even in the regular world want to bring that up as if it's a legitimate claim. So I know that you're asking great questions because they need to be asked and discussed, not because you want to be here on the Prepared Mind channel slinging arrows. I see how you ask your questions, man. Very good. That's the way I like it. Anyways, let's continue. Hey, we dropped back under 500 people live. Get that internet address out there right now. Copy it, paste it, send it off. And of course, if you're new to the channel, be sure and subscribe. And everyone, thumbs up this video. Thumbs up. It's all go, no quit for Trump, and it is zoo time tonight. Jolene, Uman, who is next? We got $50 from Chelsea on the club. She's using the club link. And that means, you guessed it, a 15-year Glenfiddich Scotch for the John for that great donation that will keep us going. Whoop, I poured that one a little too tall. Thank you, Chelsea. Chelsea's here every week supporting the channel, just like all of you guys. So, bottoms up, Semper Fi, Prost, cheers, and God bless America. Thank you, Chelsea. Like mother's milk. Like mother's milk. Woo! Okay, now, Chelsea says, God bless America and God bless Trump. John, we all need a shot. And we're not talking about bullets. We're talking about a shot. Relax, folks. Trump is good. This is going to continue. It's going to get crazy. It's not going to stop. And Chelsea says, make America great again. Damn right. Damn right. Incredible, folks. I've got some. The gaslighting in Congress is incredible. The gaslighting, the lying, the chicken shit. It's crazy out there. Let's do it. Let's do some more super chat donations. What do you guys want to talk about? It's the zoo. It's your channel. It's your show. And it's Dan Erickson. And he has, well, a $2 super chat to correct me. At 100 yards, it is 0.08 seconds for a bullet to get there. So if he was at 250 yards, let's just go to 350 yards. That is a quarter of a second. A quarter of a second. Now, let's throw in the amount of time that someone who is shooting decides it's time to shoot. They make sure they've got sight alignment, sight picture, or a clear reticle, and they're on target. They squeeze the trigger properly. Let's assume that the shooter, 20 years old, was practiced and actually took his time squeezing the trigger, not yanking it. So we go from at a 300-yard shot, and I don't think he was, but let's just give it a 300-yard shot, which is a quarter second, And a quarter second from the time his brain said, I'm going to squeeze this trigger. And he did. And it took a quarter second for him to feel the trigger and squeeze until the hammer dropped. Half a second. Half a second, Dan, is all the president had to turn and move. 1001, right? Half a second. If Trump had been a quarter second slower, he may have taken that bullet through the side of the back of his cranium or across the front of his frontal lobe. Who knows, folks? All we know, it was that close. Through the ear, but missed his skull. But hey, Dan, I really appreciate you throwing the actual time on that. Having worked the butts as a Marine, meaning the guy pushing the target up and down, right? Push the target up, the guy shoots it, bring it down, mark it, spot it, send it back up so he can see where his bullet hit at the rifle range. You'll hear the bullet hit the dirt, pop, behind you, and then a very short, brief amount of time later, at 500 yards, you'll hear the crack. Crack! Yeah, it is very fast. You are correct. It's not 2 or 3 seconds, but in a way, it seems like it. But, be that as it may, science is science, and I'm going to trust the science, Dan. Thank you, sir. Jolene, who's next? Who wants to be up on this on the Prepared Mind channel? Who's got something to say? And it's Robert McGrath with a $2 super chat. And he says, time to play Steppenwolf song Monster again. Well, I'll tell you what, I would love to play any music by anyone, but if I do, guess what? YouTube punishes us. They punish the channel because they call it copyright infringement. I call it promoting an artist. If I did Ted Nugent's Stranglehold, great song, super good rock and roll, right? If I played Motley Crue, if I played any band, I'm promoting their music. People go, I like that. But YouTube wants to use it as an excuse to punish us. So once again, as Jace John had to say, fuck YouTube. I do everything I can to make sure they don't get to hurt us. Anyways, let us continue if we shall. We are having one heck of a Sunday. Believe it or not, I've been told, got a message from upstairs where the rain is falling. We got severe thunder and lightning here in Florida. There's a storm brewing, in other words. But I think we're ready. I think we're prepared. Okay, who's next? What are we going to talk about? And it's Chester Wolf the Griffin with a $2 super chat. He says, photo of Trump praying to God at that moment. I don't have that photo. I don't have it. I do know that there was a photo from between one of the agents that was covering Trump. You can see they had him almost with his face on the ground, on his hands and knees. You might say that's a shot of him praying, but I don't think it's the most complimentary photo of the president at that time. So I haven't shared that one. But you can bet your ass that there's a lot of prayers out there, folks. Billions, I would say, since this has occurred, that billions of prayers worldwide have come in. That Trump was protected, is protected, and will continue to be protected through the divine hand of providence. Let us continue if we shall. Thank you, Chester Wolf, again. Jolene, next. Mr. Uman, who's up? And it is Diorce checking in with a 223 super chat donation. And he's not man. He's not horse. He's Diorce. He says, sorry, I skipped the ad. Here's my dues. Thank you, Diorce. Good to have you in the house. Good to have you in the house. Let's do another super chat donation. It's your show, your channel. Sunday Night Live. We've got a super chat button up there. We've got down below links at thepreparedmind.club. And Jolene will put them up and direct you as soon as we're done with Diorce's $10 super chat donation. And he says this, and I'm very glad he's done it. He says, I have a devil's advocate type of conspiracy theory about what happened to Trump yesterday. I can't wait to read this. I've never seen it. I don't know what he's up to. This is going to be exciting. I'm going to turn my head and read it for the first time. I want to be clear. I do not believe in what I am typing, but it is a possibility. Oh, this is going to get juicy. Bring it on, Dior's. What do we got next? Continued with, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Are we waiting on him to bring it all the way through? Okay, I want the possibility. Where is it? No. I think Uman's looking for it. It got lost. It got erased. Oh shit. Okay. Dior's has a devil's advocate type of conspiracy theory. He does not believe it, what he's typing up, but it's a possibility. It'll be on the screen shortly. While we're waiting for that, I want to let you know exactly how stupid and evil all at the same time Democrats, their staff, and the mainstream media are. Right? The congressman, there was a Democrat congressman. This idiot presented a bill to Congress to strip Trump of his Secret Service protection. Weeks and weeks ago, he offered condolences. Condolences for what? Sorry you survived the assassination attempt? That sounds like something a Democrat would say. He just offered condolences. Okay. And then one of his staffers, a person on his congressional staff tweeted, "Don't miss next time." Really? Really? Don't miss next time. Really? That's how much they hate Trump and want him dead. There is no remorse. There is no genuine concern. They want him dead. Now, what I want to know is why isn't this congressman, and especially his staffer, expelled from Congress? Congress needs to return to Washington, D.C., go into session, and start expelling leftist Democrats. Don't miss next time. That person should be fired, and the congressman that he works for should be expelled for this. Remember, folks, Republican George Santos, a Republican named George Santos, just months ago was expelled from Congress for merely lying. Lying, lying like Biden and Senator Lying Hontus, Elizabeth Warren. She lied. Joe Biden lies all the fucking time. But George Santos lies and gets expelled. This asshole said we should take Trump's Secret Service away. How much easier would it have been for that assassin to get off a more, shall we say, accurate shot? These people are sick in the fucking head. They need to be expelled. Now, let me talk about one of my favorite assholes in the media, George Stephanopoulos. He blamed Trump and you. He blamed Trump and me, Trump supporters, for the, quote, violent rhetoric, for shooting. What? No. There was no shooting. It was an assassination attempt. It was an assassination attempt. Biden didn't call it an assassination attempt. He called it violence. Steffi Poo, the little bitch, George, called it shooting. Right? Violent rhetoric. It's our fault. Folks, it's total bullshit, total projection on the part of the Democrats, blaming us and Trump for what they're doing. Biden said that Trump needs to be in the bullseye. They're openly calling for Trump to be assassinated because they think the president will be exonerated because he has presidential immunity. No, that only counts for legitimate presidential activities and orders. Assassinating Americans, especially your political rivals, is not inside this little book called the U.S. Constitution. America doesn't have to buy this shit anymore from George Stephanopoulos or any other left-wing idiot. I'm just fucking pissed at these people. pissed at them. Fucking livid is a great way to put it for their bullshit. Literally blaming us for their violent rhetoric. Is it or is it not the LGBTQ crowd that is out there publicly threatening everybody, including Trump, and murdering their own friends, family members, parents, and Christian children, and going to churches and trying to kill people, and taking a shot at the head of the president, going to shopping malls and trying to kill massive numbers of people? It is the left that does that. The leftists, the Democrats, the socialists, the communists, Antifa, BLM, that are burning, looting, and murdering every chance they get and every excuse. Did you know that this weekend, I know it's been overshadowed, but down in Florida, my state now, in a place called Sarasota, a Democrat woman wanted to have a late night after hours skating party for her daughter's 18th birthday. And she was required by contract with the skating company to have off-duty police as security as part of the contract. She did not produce evidence that she was going to have security there. So they said, breach a contract, you don't get to use our skating facility for your party. So the lady, in all of her Democrat wisdom, called for violence, used social media and said, let's wreck this place. And I'm not even going to use her racist terminology, but approximately 500 Utes showed up and trashed the place and other businesses in the area. And it took 2, maybe 3 hours for the police to stop the riot that was started by leftist idiots, Karens, crybabies, soft-brained, addle-minded morons who, because they didn't get their way, decided they would destroy businesses. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Diorce, I want your question. I want your conspiracy theory. Bring it on. Grant Stitchfield says this. This is Grant Stitchfield on Fox News. He says the LGBTQ mania nearly got Trump killed. What are you talking about? Is the shooter LGBTQ? Well, I don't know. But what he is saying, though, is that former Secret Service agent is blaming the woke agency leadership. Folks, it's going mainstream. Grant Stitchfield is mainstream media. He is on Fox News, I think Fox and Friends. He is saying, yeah, this diversity, equity, inclusion. Thank you, Jolene. And all the bullshit from the LGBT crowd pressing to put unqualified people in charge of the Secret Service and other, of course, government bureaucracies is the reason that Trump wasn't given adequate protection. Now, if you want, go listen to what Grant has to say about it. You don't have to take my word for it. Look up Grant Stinchfield, Stinchfield, Grant Stitchfield on YouTube. You'll find what he has to say. All right, now we're back at 500 people live plus, and it's going up again. Share the internet address, please. We need to get the word out on this one. Thumbs up if you just got here. And, of course, subscribe if you want to make comments in the comments section. There are moderators on site with blue wrenches. You will be nice or you will be removed. We're at 90 minutes in, and now we're going to look at Diorce's. And it's not his conspiracy theory that he believes. He just wants to talk about the topic. Kind of like El Corrente likes to ask provocative questions, comments, so that he can see, hear, listen what the hell it is that the truth is, the facts. My opinion, anyways. Dior says this. I need you to post this next comment because YouTube is blocking what I have to say. Whoa. Wow, YouTube doesn't want this conspiracy theory out there. I wonder why. What if the attempted unaliving? Oh, that is just fucking brilliant. What if the attempted assassination of Trump was organized by either Trump or one of his staffers organized to gain more support in the next election, in the coming election, in this election? I'll tell you what, this has been shall I say, offered up, if you will, by Democrat after Democrat after Democrat after Democrat. I know this isn't Diorce's thinking. It's a ridiculous assumption that this was a staged event. Well, let's start with the obvious. Real gun, real bullet. Real gun, real bullet, real injury to Trump. Do you think for a second that anyone would trust somebody to barely graze your head with, let's just say, a 250-yard shot from a rifle? Nobody. That is awfully close. That's worse than the apple on the head, the William Tell, right? No. Shoot an apple off my head with a bow and arrow? No fucking way. Nuh-uh, right? You couldn't count on the world's best marksman not to take your fucking head off. What if he didn't lean forward enough? Whoops, sorry about that head wound. Yeah, so that is not a possibility. It is not within the realm of possibility. It's completely farcical to think that anyone would trust anyone to just shoot off someone's ear. Now, I know that at 10 yards, I could make that shot with a pistol. At 25 yards with a pistol, I'm either going to miss your ear, take your whole ear off, or take off your head with a pistol. Now, rifle, something else completely. Wind. The wind alone, a little gust could have blown that bullet, folks, another inch into Trump's head, or an inch and blow it away an inch. I've shot at 200 yards, 300 yards, and 500 yards with iron sights, and bullets will drift. Now, so if using a real bullet is right out, and let's just say blanks were used, a gunman was fake killed, and somehow we're going to make blood explode out of Trump's ear and make it look like, right, he was shot. Is that possible? Yes. Is it probable? No. Trump didn't need to have a stunt like this in order to get more support. Joe Biden is like a submarine that has been pierced through the con tower with a torpedo, and he's taking on water, and he is going down to Davy Jones's locker. Trump doesn't need any additional help by faking an assassination attempt. Everything Biden does is sinking him even further. Every time he opens his mouth, he makes it worse. Every time the mainstream media attacks Trump, they make it worse. Every time Biden panders to the Hispanic community, the Mexican community, the labor community, he even insults his own labor, meaning unions. He pisses them off, right? Anyways, let us continue, right? Let's just say Trump did that. I mean, what's he going to do? Have a small explosive implanted in his ear? A directional explosive to pop and bleed on his face and look like a flesh wound? I mean, yeah, you could fake the picture of the bullet that was captured on camera, allegedly, supposedly. I have the picture. Pretty interesting. You could fake that kind of stuff, yeah. But the fact that he was standing there, right? And he's hit. And then you hear the crack and his hand goes up. Oh, sure, Trump's an actor. He was on TV. He had his own show. He's been in lots of movies doing cameos. He even, right. He even joined. He likes he got in a brawl at a World Wrestling Federation or World Wrestling Entertainment venue, right, with Vince McMahon and the guys, right? He's an entertainer. But how bad would it look if the fakery was bad? If it went wrong? How about this? All someone would have to do is stab Trump in the back and come out and go, I was part of the conspiracy to fake this. He's already demonstrated, Trump has, that when he appoints people and hires people, they shit on him. So I do not believe that the odds of this happening even exist in the world of reality. It's not needed. It's risky. And it's not needed. But anyways, Diorce, I'm glad you brought it up because it is out there. It is out there. The Democrats are saying that. They're going to believe that. But they do lament the failed Trump assassination also at the same time. A trending comment and word on Twitter X is, how do you miss, right? And yes, Dumbocrats claim it was all staged. Right? What a great idea. Let's take a chance and try and shoot me through my ear to get more support. Right? Dumb. Absolutely dumb of the Democrats to bring that up. And Diorce, I don't think you thought for a second. That's exactly right. It's exactly what happened. Anyways, just a big wow. Everywhere, big wow on this one. I am pissed off. And folks, guess what? So is Donald Trump Jr. We'll get to him in a bit. Jolene, who is up next on the Prepared Mind channel at the zoo? And it's Dan Erickson with a $10 super chat donation. Kapow. He says, can't afford to buy you a drink tonight. Oh, I don't blame you, dude, because he made a $100 donation to the Trump campaign yesterday. You bet you did, man, and I'm glad you did. Folks, people are now pissed off with us. People who before were like, you know what, I'll probably vote for Trump, but now I'm definitely voting for Trump. And I'm definitely going to campaign for him. I'm definitely going to get out there. I'm definitely going to put a sticker on my car, a yard sign in my yard, going to fly a flag. I'm going to donate to Trump. He didn't need this kind of support, but he's getting it, right? Because people in America don't like it when someone takes this kind of chicken shit shot. Anyways, Dan, you've supported this channel greatly. You're always here. Your comments, questions, thoughts are always welcome. Bam, semper fi to you, brother. Thank you, Dan. All right, Jolene, who's up next? What do we got? We've got, drum roll, Cookie Bones with a $20 super chat donation. Pow. The next debate is going to be a doozy. Woo! A doozy is a great word. This is Cookie Bones' first time as a donator on the channel to keep this channel live. Your super chat donations on Sunday Night Live at the zoo here are what keep us on the air, what keep us going day in, day out. Thank you, Cookie Bones. Yeah, the next debate is going to be a shit show, right? Do you think, let me ask you this, well, if they put Biden on the right and Trump on the left, that means Trump's right ear is going to be visible to the camera because he's going to be looking across at Biden and the shall we say, debate moderators who are left-wing lying sacks of shit in just about every single case. I mean, I think it'd be funny as hell if Alex Jones and me got to be moderators. Can you imagine the questions? Joe, what brand of adult diapers do you wear? Okay, but the next debate will be a doozy. Yeah, they're going to do all they can to make sure that Trump doesn't talk about the assassination, doesn't show the new piercing he's got. Yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. I can't imagine, folks. Look, every time we think we know what's going to happen next, they surprise the shit out of us. Oh, you bet. Doozy indeed. Thank you, Cookie Bones, for joining us. And yes, wow. What a show. Sorry, a little dry here. I'll stay here as long and as late as you guys want to talk because it is Sunday. Wait till you see what is said and done this coming week. It is going to be wild. The accusations, the left-wing stupidity. It is going to be wild. Okay, Jolene, ooh man, I know we've got more people out there want to talk. What's on their mind? And it's Chelsea is back again with another $49.99 super chat donation. Pow. And you know what that means? That means I get another 15-year single malt Glenlivet Scotch. And as pissed off as I am, folks, I am not a giggling, shall we say, lightly inebriated John. I'm a pissed off inebriated John. Slightly inebriated. Because I've had plenty to eat today, believing that, yeah, I'd be having a few of these thanks to all of you out there. Chelsea, Chin, Darcy T, and the rest of you who join in the fun. Like Mr. N. You know who you are out there. Mr. N. Thank you as well. Ooh. Woo! Shot down in flames. No, he wasn't. Trump was not shot down in flames, folks. And I'm referring, of course, to the great AC/DC tune, which I cannot play because, well, we'd be punished. They may even give us a strike. They may even remove this video because we dared to talk about Donald J. Trump. All right, so Chelsea says, I think things are going to get worse as the election gets closer. I agree with you 100%. And I won't be ridiculous and say 110% because 100% is really all I've got. She says, stay prepared and be ready. And that is great and practical advice. Stay prepared. I was talking to a friend who just happens to have a self-defense tool. And she said, you know what? I think I'm going to be carrying it from now on because I don't know what situations I'm going to be in because there are liberal fruitcakes everywhere. And when they find out that you are a Trump supporter, they just might get fucking crazy. Think about it. They're that whacked out, folks. We know they go to shopping malls. We know they go to supermarkets. We know they go to churches. We know they go to political rallies. We know they go to riots. We know they shut down traffic, streets, office buildings, and they shoot and kill people. And did I mention schools? School shooters are left-wing retards too. Crazy business. So yeah, Chelsea says, what are your thoughts, John? Yeah. As it becomes more and more and more obvious that Trump is the leader that America wants, that freedom requires. And as the left, the socialists, the globalists, folks, realize they're going to lose, they're going to whip their supporters into a hysteria like you can't believe. And the reason I brought up the story, the only thing that doesn't have anything to do with Trump that I've read today, right? About the freak of a woman in Sarasota, Florida, who inspired a 500-person riot and destruction, mayhem, which, by the way, is a massive felony. And it should be a hate crime as well. Had nothing to do with politics. It had everything to do with their willingness to destroy because they hate others. They are full of hatred and anger. And they had something taken from them, a roller skating night. And they went on a 500-person rampage, mob mentality. Remember that shit from 2020? Oh, by the way, one of my favorite jokes I came up was this. Well, of course, we don't need to call it what it is because it was a mostly peaceful assassination. It was mostly peaceful. I mean, shot fired here and a shot fired there was mostly peaceful. Right afterwards, it was peaceful. Before, it was peaceful. And in between pulling the trigger, it was peaceful. There was no mortars. They didn't drop any bombs out of planes. It was mostly peaceful. Crazy, folks. Let me tell you something else. And I sure hope the Secret Service has thought about this. Let me remind everyone about drones. I think drones are great for surveillance, surveilling the enemy, but drones are now being used as weapons. In order to take a drone out of the air, you need a shotgun to ensure you're going to hit it. What if a left-wing lunatic gets their hands on a drone with explosives and flies it into a Trump rally. Is anyone looking up in the sky for drones? Just a question. My thoughts. Things are going to get worse. Meaning they're going to get more desperate also. There's going to be more anger, more willingness. And folks, when you're trying to shoot the President Trump, you've got to see the President Trump. With the drone, you can be a long ways away. You can be inside a building, inside a car, and watch on a screen as you control the drone like a video game, and you just fly it right at the president. I sure hope the Secret Service is looking up for drones, because how quickly can they fly in? They're very fast. When I'm out in the estuaries and waterways of Florida, people are always flying drones around, and they're very fast. Very fast. They can come in very low, just a few feet off the deck. They could come in low, a few feet off the deck, rise up, go into the stadium, come down, and go right at the president. It'll take just a couple seconds. Just a couple seconds. That's right, folks. Zelensky's drones that America is giving him, that Washington, D.C. is giving him, can be flown right in and at Trump and detonated. We've seen lots of footage now of drones being used to blow up Russians. And of course, the Russians are also using drones to blow up Ukraine and mercenary army. Those are my thoughts. It's going to get crazy as the election gets closer. The desperation will get greater. And of course, scorched earth policy and mentality will continue. And out here on the street, I expect, folks, there to be riots and chaos, mostly peaceful disagreement with you as Make America Great supporters. Okay, Jolene, let's do it. Who's up next? Thank you, Chelsea, by the way. And it's Inigo Montoya. And I do not think that means what you think it means. You keep using that word. Inconceivable. With a $19.99 super chat donation. And he said on 7/12/24, that'd be July 12th of 2024, Joe Biden tweeted, quote, quote, "We must stop him. DIE or DEI, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion equals 3 6s. 3 6-foot men shielding Trump and 1 5'5" woman ducking her head, using President Trump as a human shield." What the fuck? Fight, fight, fight. That's what Trump yelled 3 times, right? Fight. Doing the fist pump, fight, fight. He sure did. Now, with respect to the woman, 5'5" tall, and Trump being well over 6 feet tall, there's criticism of the diversity, equity, and inclusion Secret Service personnel. Now, what I don't know is who is Secret Service and who is private security. Were the anti-snipers or counter-snipers, were they Secret Service or were they private security? I don't know for sure. I'm guessing the people that surrounded the president were Secret Service because they kind of looked like Secret Service and acted like Secret Service. But I do not believe that the 5'5" woman who was on that detail should have been there. Not because she was a woman, but because, or any diversity, equity, or inclusion, but because she wasn't tall enough to protect the president. A couple of the guys had their hands and arms up, shielding the president from being viewed by other potential shooters. Now, the 5'5" woman did have her arm around Trump, and I think she was, I don't want to use the word frisking, but checking or feeling for other injuries, other potential injuries, other wounds that he could have had, because it is their responsibility to do that very thing, right? To get all the information they can about what has happened to the president and his body in this attempted assassination. But that may be why it looked like she was ducking her head. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong, Inigo Montoya. I'm just saying that may be an explanation. So I will understand, and I'm glad you brought it to my attention and everyone else's, just in case they missed it. But yeah, there is one of the people that ran up there was a woman, 5'5". And again, I don't think she was the ideal person because she's not tall enough to shield that proportion of the president altogether. And that is why many times you'll see Secret Servicemen that are on presidential detail are large or larger than the person they're protecting and larger than the average person, which means typically they're male and typically they're white or black. Because, well, I don't know. Are Asians tall? Yeah, Japanese men are well over 6 foot tall, so there could be there. But yeah, typically you need to be taller than that guy to do that job. But as far as I'm concerned, right? Was she using him as a human shield? I don't know, right? If there weren't other people there surrounding the president, I might think that because she was so much lower. Anyways, there's a lot of criticism of the other females that were part of this. And there is criticism, right? Because one of them had a hard time holstering her weapon. Now, again, it was a very tense, stressful, and I would say for the average person, terrifying. But even policemen and Secret Service, if you have never been in the situation where your boss, the president, has just had an assassination attempt, how can you know how to react? How can you shield yourself from the adrenaline rush? You bet there was an adrenaline rush there, folks. So yeah, it'd probably be hard to holster that weapon while under extreme stress. Some people described it as terrifying, right? So is it less terrifying for a professional? Well, it should be. Are they supposed to train in very lifelike scenarios so that they get used to that? And it becomes, rather than, holy crap, that just happened, to second nature reacting because of training. Training becomes your nature because your nature is to train for those things. Secret Service isn't there just to look good, right? It is to perform at that moment when the time comes. And so I was very glad to see Mr. Montoya, that the Secret Service reacted so quickly and got up there, protected him and shuffled him off. But he did put his foot down. He did say, wait. And he did fist pump, fight, 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 and yell. And then again at the Secret Service mobile, right? The Trump mobile when he was leaving. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of criticism. And rightly so. There should be criticism of everybody. And I don't mean in a negative fashion, but as a learning and educational, shall we say, exercise, right? The counter snipers, the policemen that were working there. And the policemen are not listening to the same police and radio frequency as the Secret Service, as Trump's private guards. His private security team may not have the authority or equipment to be on the same broadcasting channel. They may want to think about that a bit, right? They may want to think about that a bit. Anyways, let us continue. And Inigo Montoya, thank you greatly for your support once again. and Heidi says she was probably getting his shoes. Getting his shoes? Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Heidi. All righty, let's continue, if we shall. Heidi, not normally a comedian, doing her best tonight to fill those shoes for me because I've been a little bit serious. And, well, I have to say I'm finally really kind of feeling that scotch. Good stuff. And we're almost at the 2-hour mark. We've got more questions and comments. If you've got you want to see, say, here, super chat donations up there, down below, and get your questions on the screen, and I'll make you famous. All right, Jolene is saying we got 4 more super chats, and it's Soft Kitty with a $10 super chat donation. Pow! And she's back this week. Soft Kitty says, while we are looking at this, meaning the Trump thing, other things are happening. And this thought occurred to me today. This is a real event, but is it distracting us from something else? And the answer is yes. It is distracting us from the bird flu convention, the bird flu symposium, the bird flu meeting to discuss the next pandemic that they want to bring about. It's right. The bird flu, are you saying it's going to happen? Right? The bird flu convention is the pandemic that they want to bring out. They want everyone locked down and scared. They want everyone in every state to go, oh my God, we need to do mail-in ballots. We need to do, well, you should be able to vote from your phone. How about that one? How about that one? You should register to vote they should come up with lots of new ways to cheat. How about someone going door to door and just checking a box for you? Mr. Smith, would you like to vote for Biden or Kamala Harris? Oh, very good. Thank you very much. On to the next door. And then as soon as that person leaves, another Democrat shows up and goes, would you like to vote today? Would you like Biden or Kamala Harris? Right? How many ways are they going to cheat? How many ways are they going to use the pandemic? Electronic voting machines, ballot harvesting, vote mules. Every way known to man they could cheat. They did it last time. We're going to shut down the voting. But when we reopen voting, all of a sudden the tallies will be in Biden's favor. Whoa. Yeah. Yes, Virginia. It is Santa Claus. Crazy. Thank you, Soft Kitty. Jolene, who is next? Who wants to step on up? And it's my good buddy Orlando. He says, don't fool yourself if they get Big T, if they hit Big Trump. We're next on their list, meaning us as Americans, preppers, veterans, patriots, constitutionalists. Their desperation and fear is obvious. Oh, man, you are not kidding. Obvious. It's obvious to me. It's obvious to everybody that they hate us and they are full of fear. That's why they're accusing Trump of being a Nazi, of being Hitler. That's why they're accusing us, accusing Trump of wanting to throw all of them in concentration camps. Well, that's exactly what they're saying about us. And by the way, the more they push, folks, the radical we will sound as well. Like, hey, you guys are calling for violence. So if you want to play that game, we'll join. Right? Anyways, Elon Musk, folks, and Dan Bongino are demanding, right? The politicized Secret Service director steps down immediately, says Bongino. And it's time to have full presidential protection package, right? I see this as a pre-election coup d'etat attempt because they know Biden's a loser and they are extremely scared. Extremely scared. All right. I mean, listen, folks, their fear and desperation is obvious. They don't want Trump to get bonus points out of this. I mean, the media, they've downplayed the assassination attempt so much that some of the mainstream fake news has said that Trump fell over because he was startled by loud noises. Right? Loud noises. How about the fucking bullet ripping through his ear? Right? Their fear, folks, has caused them to call for violence. Remember Mad Maxine calling for violence everywhere? Confronting Trump supporters and other Republicans? Remember that Senator Rand Paul was attacked on his own lawn at his own house by his own neighbor. And Democrats celebrated that attempt. And they're celebrating this attempt, saying better luck next time. And you'll get him next time. And they're lamenting that he was missed. These pieces of shit are that bad. Oh, I won't fool myself, brother. That's for sure. We are next on their list. But they can't come after us, me and you, if Trump is in office. And that's why the deep state will focus on him again. And they are focusing on him again. And they are loyal to themselves, not the Constitution. They're loyal to democracy. The Democrats, the mainstream media, and the deep state, they're loyal to democracy. And America is not a democracy, folks. It's a republic. It is a republic. The Constitution says so. Supreme Court decisions say so. And hell, even the Pledge of Allegiance says so. Everybody knows it's a republic. The founding fathers called it one. We're a republic. We're not subject to mob rule, which is what a pure democracy is. But that's what they want. Woo! Thank you, Orlando. Thank you for the great support, man. And if you paint that painting, Orlando, I think I would like you to make several, and I'll take one. I would love to have that and hang it on my wall. If he does it, folks, Orlando is actually an artist. He's many things. He's a patriot. He's a veteran. He's a hardworking man, and he's also an artist. And I consider him a brother and a friend. Let us continue, if we shall. Jolene, man, who's up next? What do we got next? And it's my good friend from south of the border. It's Carlos Granados. And he's got 223 Mexican pesos. They say, gracias, muchacho. He says, hey, John, this Trump caper. Oh, my God. I gotta have a caper. Holy fuck. The word caper. This Trump caper reminds me of the 1994 Mexican presidential election, where the main party's candidate was erased by members from within the same organization. Mexico is no stranger to these types of capers. A caper. Oh my gosh. That's a great word. Caper. Look it up. There's a verb from the blast from the past. Folks, a month ago, the president or prime minister of Slovakia, Mr. Fico, was shot several times. There was an attempted assassination of him. Why? Because he does not support the European Union. He supports independent state sovereignty in Europe. They don't want the United States of Europe. There was supposed to be a monetary and financial agreement to help unify Europe and smooth over all of the currency interaction. Instead, they turned it into a way to create a sovereign body that is not accountable to the several independent nation states of Europe. And Fico, leader of Slovakia, is behind Viktor Orban of Hungary, who has the same mentality. And guess who got put into the position of leader of the European Union? Now it's being led by Viktor Orban. And he is a supporter of Trump and a supporter of sovereign, independent nation states, as well as the leader of, I think it's El Salvador. And now we have the leader of Argentina, who is a capitalist. We're going to use that. I think using the term anarcho-capitalist, which is what he's referred to as in his country, just sounds a little too radical. What he has done is limited as much as he can and continues to limit government power, authority, overspending, overreach, control, and destruction of his own country and currency. And it's working. It's working, folks. Freedom works every time it's tried. You want individual prosperity? Try freedom. Try liberty. Try limited government. You want national prosperity? Try freedom, liberty, and limited government. It works every fucking time it's tried. Thank you, Carlos Granados. Rock on, muchacho. Adios. And thank you again. Gracias. That's about the extent of my Espanol. Okay, let's do it. Jolene, we've gone over the 2-hour mark. And we'll keep going. Who's up next? We got Dan Erickson with a $2 super chat donation. He says, YouTube is really stomping on it. What the hell is YouTube doing? Besides trying to silence us, censor us, they're probably running a YouTube commercial every 5 seconds in order to try and blank me out. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. YouTube is stomping on it. What the fuck are they stomping on? Man, what are they stomping on? Any idea? I can't hear you. Do you want to come on or no? Okay. Uh-oh.
I think he's referring to stomping on comments and stuff. We've seen a lot of stuff being held for review and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, there it is. That's correct. Yeah.
And then some people have been saying that their chats weren't going through, and it's probably because of the wording and whatnot.
They've updated their censorship algorithm. That makes perfect sense to cover words like traitor and assassin, and I'm sure they've expanded it to try and put an end to the radical right-wing freedoms.
Yeah, I think if you use assassinate and Trump in the same comment, that blocks it or something. I don't know. I had to reword a whole bunch of mine in the last few days as well.
Even yours?
Even mine. As a moderator, you used to be able to post anything you wanted.
Right.
But now it even restricts mine, and that's why I have to come up with some of that goofy stuff even during the weekday shows.
Okay. If you use if your comments won't go through, replace A with the @ symbol, replace S with the $sign, replace H with a hashtag, replace I with an exclamation point.
L's with the number 1.
Yeah, L with the number 1 or an exclamation point. Right. Just
or use words like
or break the word into pieces and put dashes in it.
Or do it like Diorce did and say unalived.
Unalived. Very creative. All right, let us continue. Ooh, man, thank you for breaking that down for me. I don't know what else YouTube is up to. They are up to no good, in my opinion. They can suck it.
Just the regular shenanigans.
Regular shenanigans. Nothing new at this point. But yeah,
just seems to be elevated again. It went away for a while, and things seemed a lot more lax. But now it seems to be tightening up again, especially since the debate debacle.
Since the debate debacle. All righty. Wow.
Okay. I think we got just one more from me at the end here.
Okay.
But anyway, just to let you in, Corsair and I had a little bet going on the side about if you were going to go a whole show without conspiracy theories.
Wait. Well, the Diorce had a conspiracy theory, but it came from the left. That
was not your conspiracy theory, so you have passed the test.
Oh, you mean me and my conspiracy theories? I tell you what. So wait. Who won the bet? Who said I was going to have a wild ass conspiracy theory that I'd pull out my ass?
Corsair.
What? Ye of little faith. Corsair. Okay.
So I got to throw him under the bus because he threw me under the bus in the chat earlier.
Oh. I tell you what, there is so much information, so much juice that I didn't have time. Okay, here's one conspiracy theory that was thrown out there, and it's not mine. The counter snipers watched the sniper and did not do anything until he shot at the president.
Correct.
Because they were facing his general direction. They were looking through their scopes, supposedly in that general direction, and they should have seen him at the roof, looking over, aiming the gun at Trump, and they should have fired at him to stop him.
Okay, well, I took a look at a topographical map of that area, and you could find it on Google Earth.
Mm-hmm.
He came up the backside of a slanted roof. So from the sniper's vantage point, they had zero visibility on the guy until maybe he popped his head up over the roof line.
Mm-hmm.
And, Go
ahead and say it again. That's cheating, man. You tipped him off of the bet. No, I didn't know there was a bet. I didn't know. There was no cheating. I didn't know. Was that Corsair saying that? Yes. You're on screen still, by the way, man. You're allowed to talk. What's happening?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yes. All right. If anyone knows Lily from Aquatic Adventures, she sent me a screenshot from someone who claimed to be one of the officers in the famous photo of the two snipers. He said, and this is his claim. My name is Jonathan Willis. I'm the officer in the famous photo of the two snipers on the roof at Trump's rally. I came here to inform the public that I had the assassin in my sights for at least 3 minutes, but the head of the Secret Service refused to give the order to take out the perp. 100%, the top brass prevented me from killing the assassin before he took the shots at President Trump. They wouldn't let me take him out, take out the shooter. Now, is that real? Don't know. Completely unsubstantiated. Somehow we dropped below 400 people live after 2 hours, and now we're up over 400 and going up again. Wild stuff. So thank you out there, Lily, wherever you're at, for sending me that. And then, I've got the names of the 9 U.S. congressmen who sponsored H.R. 8081, which was to strip Donald Trump of his Secret Service protection. Let me get this closer because, John Vision. We got Benny Thompson, Troy Carter, Barbara Lee, Frederica Wilson, Yvette Clark, Bonnie Coleman, Jasmine Crockett, Joyce Bealty, and Steve Cohen. All right, that's our anti-Trump Secret Service conspirators. Let's do this. Thank you, Lily, for that. Oh, my goodness. I've got an incredible amount of information here, but we don't have time for it all. Let's see. Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting stuff. I'll have to look into that. Folks, this is not going to end. The Sunday Night Live will eventually end when we're out of Super Chats, but it's not going to end. That is unverified. That is absolutely correct. It's unverified. I'm well aware it's unverified. But these are the things that are going to come out. What we need to do is intelligently think about it. I'm not going to join the radical conspiracy theory crowd. Not going to do it. I'm not going to fear porn the headlines. This title is Trump is all go, no quit. That's a fact because Trump said, I ain't quitting. It's all go, right? He's heading to the convention. Now, that was an unverified report from the so-called one of the snipers. If we can verify that, I will say this is a true thing, but it's being passed about. What I will say is be careful about anything you read. Think about it. Don't believe anyone just because they say it. When I put a news headline up here, it's from sources that are well vetted, right? More than one source reporting it, or even official government sources. Or I heard the witness speaking to the BBC reporter saying he saw the guy on the roof and told policemen, and they didn't do anything about it. Okay, I've got that report. It's out there. In fact, I was so afraid it was going to be pulled off the internet and hidden that I had Uman and Trump pull it off the internet. But it got picked up by other media sources and saved. They cannot deny that there was a ginger who was wearing a Make America Great Again hat, standing talking with a BBC reporter about the fact that he saw a guy climbing up with a rifle onto the roof, and the police did not take immediate action. And they should have. And they didn't. And thank God that bullet only clipped Trump's ear. Wow. Woo! Okay, Jolene, who's next? I know we've got a couple more super chats, and it's Boomer out of Canada with a $20 Canadian super chat donation. Boomer has been a great, great, great supporter of the channel, along with everyone else you've seen here tonight, and everyone who's in the comment section, and everyone who's shown up and wants to learn the facts, the truth, and is sharing the internet address and hitting the thumbs up, which you all should have done by now. Thank you very much. Now let's get to Boomer's comments. He said, by rights, our man should have protection over a 2-mile radius. You know why 2-mile radius? Drones. they better be well aware that drones will be used. Drone, the next word I didn't even see. 2 mile radius, drones and all. That would be Lucas. Lucas, I'm doing my show, amigo. It's going late.
Shit.
No, it's cool. I'll call you back. I got a lot of people want to talk still about the whole Trump assassination. Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, yeah, that was amateur hour. 150 yards, 12 shots, 1 hit.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a clean hit.
That's disgusting work.
Just amateur hour it is, Luke. Not everyone can be like you.
All right, well, call you later, big guy.
Okay, I'll talk to you, son. I love you.
Love you lots.
Bye. All right. That was none other than the world famous Lucas, my son. All right, now back to Boomer and his $20 thing. He says, by all rights, our man Trump should have protection over a 2 mile radius, drones and all. Do you think that they'll actually step up security next time? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Lessons learned, folks. You can train, you can simulate, you can postulate, you can hypothesize, but that doesn't make it real. Reality is affecting corporations that have implemented diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they're learning. Their companies are going downhill, taking a shit, losing money, because it's a theory that DEI works, diversity, equity, inclusion. In other words, hiring incompetent, unqualified, inexperienced people and putting them in executive and management positions, thinking that, well, we're being nice and giving these people a chance. Yeah, no, not good. So lessons learned, right? They need a shared frequency or someone operating and relaying messages from frequency to frequency between police, Secret Service, and private security. That you need to have Secret Service agents and other protection agents who are large enough to cover the entire body of the person being protected. I mean, there's going to be more. There's going to be a lot more coming out, folks, a lot more. They will step up security. I don't think 5 Secret Service agents was enough. I don't. There should be more. Trump is a former president. Trump has had multiple death threats coming from private persons, entertainment and media, politicians. He has been attacked by judges, prosecutors, lawyers, and lunatic women who think that he had sex with her. Yeah, I think they'll actually step the fuck up on security there, Boomer. Thank you for your great support. Let's have some more fun. Who else is out there? Who's got something to say? And it's Mile High Ronan with a $4.99 super chat. He says, rabbit holes. Maybe include allegedly. Rabbit holes? Allegedly, yeah. Are you saying that they need to have rabbit holes filled? No. The word allegedly. Allegedly applies to everything we don't have solid facts on, man. But, we have to consider everything, but we have to be careful about the words we choose. I am not telling everyone it's time to get violent. I'm not telling everyone lock and load and carry everywhere and do anything. No. I'm just saying it's time to step up our thinking, right? The quality level of our intellect and applying it to what's going on and understanding the threats are everywhere, right? And allegedly all Democrats are voting and cheering this on, because every time I see someone cheering it on, it's all Democrats all the time. And how can you vote for these people knowing what they're doing and then keep voting for them, seeing what they voted for and what they're asking for? Anyways, I tell you what, this has been one hell of a show, and we're going. Let's keep on going. As long as there's super chat donations, I will stay here and answer them. And it's man, and he says it'll be interesting to see how markets react to this tomorrow morning. When we talked Friday, there was a big sell-off 1 half hour before the close makes me curious now. Are you saying that there was a sell-off in anticipation of what could have happened over the weekend? Because the Democrats were all saying something big is going to happen this weekend. You know, something big is coming. And we were all thinking, well, maybe I was allegedly thinking that they were talking about removing Biden. Starting to look like they were anticipating the removal of Trump. And that would be a conspiracy theory if I actually thought that, but I'm not prompting that or that. I'm not saying that.
Well,
I think Uman
that's my little personal conspiracy theory.
Uman said it.
If you recall, we're talking about how, you know, everything was on the up and up, and all of a sudden, you know, it took a big dive in the last half hour. And I said, well, you know, the big money players with all the turmoil and stuff going on right now between the elections and everything else, you know, a lot of those guys probably don't want to leave their money in the market for a possibly volatile weekend, you know?
Oh, yeah. It was over the Biden potentially being kicked out, right? Or the announcement or the resignation.
Right.
Turns out none of that happened. I haven't heard a word all weekend about Biden stepping down or being removed by the 25th Amendment, or Democrats coming out and saying we're all going to 25th Amendment him, or nothing.
No, it's been pretty quiet on that front. So they got a good distraction to keep everybody's eye on the new shiny object over here.
Nope. I think Biden's cognitive qualities will continue to be questioned. But yeah, we definitely have a lot more to talk about now, don't we? Because assassination attempts are now on the table by the Democrats. They're wishing. They're crossing their fingers. They're saying better luck next time. Damn it, let's try it again. Whatever the hell it is they're saying, it's awful. Now, I will be honest. And I'm going to ask everyone to be honest with yourself. You don't have to say anything in the comment section. And in fact, don't say a fucking word in the comment section. But if Obama had been shot, would you celebrate? If Biden had been shot, would you celebrate? You don't have to answer. Do not answer that. But be honest with yourself. So when we hear these Democrats celebrating that someone tried to, and then hoping next time they're good at it, Trump's shot. That's their side of the thinking, right? Am I right? Be honest. That's all I'm saying. Be honest. I know a lot of Republicans who have said, fuck, man, I wish they'd taken Biden or Obama out, right? So I don't pretend. I'm not a fucking hypocrite about it.
You know, the thing is with our side, you know, they get outraged about, you know, those comments being made by the left. But what we got to remember is they think we're as crazy as we think they are crazy. You know, we think we're on the right side of history. They think they're on the right side of history.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's no different with them saying those things than what I guarantee you would be hearing if it was the other way around from our side.
Yeah. When Kennedy was shot, there was a lot of concern, a lot of people, because back then media was slower. There was 3 networks. There was radio. The Zapruder film was the only filmed. Actually, there were two angles it was filmed from, but that was the only evidence on film of the shooting that was made available to the public. There was no TV camera, no live coverage, and it took days to develop that film. Days. You take the film and you take it into a film developer processor who converted it, put it on film, and then you could put it through a projector, right? So that being said, it was all conjecture, speculation, and reports by the media. So people wondered, is he dead? Is he not dead? We know he was shot, and people were screaming and yelling, good, that commie should have been killed. Everywhere. If you hated Kennedy because he was a Democrat, then you were grateful and thankful he was shot.
Yeah, the thing that upsets me is not so much the comments they're making or the comments our side would be making, but the fact that everybody's overlooking the greater picture of this is an attack on the office of the president of the United States, regardless if the guy was a Republican or a Democrat. We could love him or hate him, but these are radical domestic terrorist actions.
Right, correct.
Regardless by which side they're being committed or which side they're being committed on. That should upset everyone.
Well, the office of the President of the United States has been under attack by partisans for decades now. It was bad when Reagan was president. The left at that point really started their accusations that, Reagan was trying to starve people, ruin people. And then George H.W. Bush, not so much of that going on, but under Clinton, it really got bad. The office of the president, I think, was disrespected by Clinton. And that started the back and forth. And then with Bush, when he went to take office, they stole the W's off of computer keyboards. They literally trashed the White House prior to the Clinton administration. Their staffers trashed the White House, left it a complete and total wreck and a mess.
Stole the china and the silverware.
They stole a lot of items, disrespecting the office and the literal building itself of the presidency. And then when Bush left and Obama came in, it just continued to get worse and worse. It has. The absolute disrespect and discontent. It used to be that when the president left the country and went to other countries, any bad mouthing or attacks were stopped because domestic politics ended at the water's edge, and there was respect for the office. But the name calling got even worse with Bush, and then again with Obama, and then of course Trump and the Steele dossier that was paid for by Hillary, and the absolute lies being sponsored and carried out by the deep state bureaucracy, the FBI, CIA, and other offices, as well as the media, went off the hook. And it has been off the hook ever since.
Yeah, well, I mean, the media has always been left-leaning as far as back as I can remember noticing. Mm-hmm. But, over the last few administrations, just the hyper-partisanship that has taken it over is just absolutely dumbfounding.
Yeah, that's a great word to put to use for it, Uman, is hyper-partisanship. And that's what I've been saying since the 2016 campaign for presidents. The campaigning is, back then we had a gulf, a small divide, but Republicans, Democrats could still talk, at least, even though they couldn't agree on a single thing. And I think a lot of that goes back to Nancy Pelosi, and I will lay a lot of the blame at her feet by saying with Obamacare, you don't get to read what's in it until after you vote for it and pass it. One of the most obscene intellectual political statements of all time. You have to pass it before you're allowed to read it. And it was like, what a massive insult to the intellect of anybody alive to say something so dramatically stupid. And that really just opened this gulf up, which is now, it cannot be bridged. The left and the right are hyper-partisan with relation or relative to each other. So everything they say, we say is radical, crazy, stupid. And everything they say, we say is radical, crazy, and stupid. But what I can say, Uman, is I've never changed. I still believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and that everything they say was meant and done for a very specific reason, and that was to limit government in size, scope, authority, and power. That's never changed in my entire life.
No, I mean, some of the finer points within that, my opinions have changed on or been refined on a little bit. But I mean, the general belief system, I mean, my parents were completely non-political. They were not, they're immigrants, so they never really participated in any of the political process until they became citizens when I was an adult.
Okay.
So, I mean, I never had a Democrat or Republican influence, but, my beliefs based on common sense, logic, reason, mathematics, physics, and biology and everything else kind of just took me towards that. Yeah, it took me towards that, more conservative side. And, I'm really don't consider myself a Republican anymore. Some of the radical stuff there and the rhinos and everything that my thoughts just don't align with.
Right.
But if I had to choose which way to describe myself, then yeah, I would be describing myself as a Republican.
Right.
I'm
I'm a
kind of
registered
like I'm
Republican,
irreligious.
yeah.
Kind of like I'm irreligious. I'm
You're
apolitical or whatever as well. You know, I mean, I know.
non-political.
Yeah.
Well, I would, the concept, the true concept of libertarianism, that is freedom, right? I'm a libertarian. I believe in freedom, but the Libertarian Party is full of some insanity. So I won't ever be a registered libertarian.
No, those have become convoluted. You know, those terms have been convoluted, and if you tell most people you're a libertarian, they assume you're part of the Libertarian Party and all the garbage that goes along with that.
I'm in the very traditional and ancient sense a libertarian, but just because the political parties are, as you're saying, that even within the parties themselves, there's the rhino side of the Republicans, and then there's the libertarian part,
first, right? Or the radical right, whatever you want to call them. Yeah,
there's the crony capitalists in the Republican Party. You know, it is splintered as much as the Democrats are between the old blue dogs and then the communist part, the anarcho Democrats. That would be the Antifa types who think they're going to get freedom by destroying the country, but they're communists. They're anarcho-communists. They're just, what the hell?
Yeah, but you gotta admit one thing though. I mean, as different and as conflicted as they are on the left, they do have the ability to get themselves under one umbrella to achieve their most common goals.
Yes,
where the right, they draw the line, and if you're not with me, you're against me, kind of stuff. You know, I mean, that within the Republican Party, there's as much if you're not with me as then you're against me as there is between the Republican and the Democrat Party.
Yeah. To make your point crystal clear, and make your point crystal clear, the LGBT, the Queers for Palestine, is one of the strangest political bedfellow statements on the planet. It is completely anti-intellectual, because any LGBTQ queer drag queen, anyone who goes to Palestine or any Muslim country, will be either killed or thrown off a roof within 10 minutes of stating who they are. Yet they support them. They support them. But if
apparently the LGBS has never been correctly implemented in those regions of the world.
Now, but that said, in the last few days, a drag queen Muslim has been posting to Twitter while in full drag reading from the Quran.
I actually saw that, and I went back to look at more into that, and it was gone. I couldn't find it again. I got a glimpse of that and almost lost my lunch.
Well, I would believe that was pure parody bullshit and a joke, except there is Queers for Palestine.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking for the Babylon Bee banner at the top of that.
Right, correct, right. And the Babylon Bee is, they said, from now on, to streamline our parody, we're going to quote Biden
word for word,
verbatim, rather than
yeah,
making stuff up for him. Anyways, let's do this. We do have more super chats. We're past 2.5 hours, man. Let's get to them. I know a lot of people have lives to live. We're still at almost 400 people live. Let's continue. Jolene, who's up? Opie Waddell checks in with a $1 super chat. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Opie Waddell. And then sending through back channels. There it is. This is Opie. What if it was a 224 Valkyrie suppressed low recoil DU titanium AR 14 SKS short barrel bumper stocked Glock revolver 40 shot caliber clip? Will they try to take our guns? Thanks in advance for your assistance in this manner. Okay. Opie Waddell was taking a shot at what the weapon was that was used. And I don't dare say again all of that. A 224 instead of a 223. Valkyrie suppressed low recoil, depleted uranium, depleted uranium, titanium, AR-14, SKS short barrel, bumper stock, Glock revolvered, 40 caliber shot clip. Now that one of theirs has used a weapon to try and shoot Trump, the answer is there will be no call for gun control because Trump almost was assassinated. I'm actually kind of surprised. Imagine if Biden had a disgruntled LGB Palestinian take a shot at him. Because, folks, the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist supporters who are in this country saying death to America, they say that Pedo Joe is bad, that there's blood on his hands, that he supports the genocide of the Palestinians, even though there is no genocide. Yeah, that was a good one. Thank you, Opie Waddell. Opie gets the Smartass Award of the day. Thank you, Opie, as always. Jolene, who's next? And it's Boomer back with another Canadian $20 super chat. And he says, just a thought, but has anyone considered that perhaps General Flynn may be a good vice presidential candidate? The answer is yes. General Flynn was the director of national intelligence in the Trump administration. He might be considered too radical. He was attacked politically, attacked legally, attacked with the bureaucracy, with law enforcement. He was framed by the FBI. Let me say that again. General Flynn, director of national intelligence under Trump, was framed by the FBI and thrown in jail. Framed by the FBI and thrown in the jail. Framed by the FBI and thrown in jail. That's right. The mainstream media won't cover that. It's just fallen off the radar. It was so long ago because we had so much other bullshit to deal with Obama's puppet, Mr. Biden. Now, I think General Flynn would be a good vice presidential candidate, but the political leftists and the mainstream media would attack him and make all manner of crazy ass claims. And I think they might say that, do we really want a member of the military in the vice presidential seat? He could commit a military coup and take over the country and be even crazier than Trump. Who knows what they would say about him? But Boomer, that is correct. He is and would be a viable and good vice presidential candidate. Trump could say to General Flynn, we have a problem over there just across the water. I think it's across the Potomac at the Pentagon. We have a number of anti-American communists and a bunch of other fruitcakes by the most literal sense of the word that need to be removed. Here's what I think. If Trump is reelected, he will appoint General Flynn to a very important position, maybe Secretary of Defense in charge of the Pentagon, to deal with just that issue alone and to spend the next 4 years cleaning that fucking cesspool out known as the Pentagon and rebuilding the military, not necessarily with weapons, but with strong pro-American officer corps and also non-commissioned officer corps, and bring respect and admiration back to the United States military, not just the United States Marine Corps, but also the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Space Force, the Coast Guard. Look at all the damage that's been done. Okay, thank you, Boomer. Well done, sir. Well done. And H3 Heidi has done another $5 super chat Cash App donation. So Jolene has got it. She's got the note. Let's do it. Who's up? Who do we got? Who's out there? And it's Mile High Ronan. Mile High Ronan with a $4.99 super chat donation says the media keeps saying President Trump. Popcorn. Oh, it's popping. It's hot. It's delicious. It's a shit show. We are in big trouble when the media starts referring to Trump as President Trump. And folks, wow. Just wow. Thank you, Mile High Ronan, for that. I have not been watching a lot of the mainstream media. I have been so busy reading excerpts from the mainstream media, just trying to keep up with their stupidity and lunacy. It's incredible. Not to mention the call for the 224 Valkyrie suppressed, low recoil, depleted uranium, titanium, AR-14, SKS short barrel bumper stock Glock revolvered 40 caliber shot clip. That's crazy stuff. I would like to see that one built. Okay, thank you, Mile High Ronan, man. President Trump, woo! He now has a pierced right ear, folks. That used to mean you're a member of the LGB community. If you pierced your right ear, or is it the left ear? Fuck, I can't remember. Now everyone pierces everything. Their lips, their eyes, their nose, their dicks. Good golly. I am still unpierced and untatted. Shall we go on? And there it is. Heidi says, I wonder how long the witnesses will live. What she's referring to is the JFK assassination. After JFK was assassinated, shot with a magic bullet and then a awful headshot back into the left. I believe it was at least a dozen of the witnesses had accidents. I wonder how many of the witnesses who saw the shots fired, who saw the guy climbing the ladder, who saw the guy on the roof before they're Arkancided. I'm waiting for Hillary to say something. Shouldn't Hillary come out? I had to refer to this picture. I wonder what Hillary's thinking. All right, let's continue if we shall. Or are we done? And Estelle Boer checks in. Is it Buer or Boer? And she says, thank you for being live last night when it all... I couldn't not be live, Estelle. I couldn't not be live. Thank you for the great support. She says, I'm sure you helped lessen the stress of it for a lot of people. I wanted to bring as many facts as I could to light and keep things on the straight and narrow. Literally, don't speculate where it's not helping. Help people understand as much as I could, folks. And Estelle, look, I was just being myself, but thank you very much for recognizing the value of it. I thought it would be valuable to come on and say, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I saw. This is what I'm right. And just bring it out that way. But the wild speculation, the conspiracy theories, they aren't necessary, right? It's like truth is stranger than fiction. So why make shit up? Because the truth, the facts are wild enough. So let's just stick to those. Thank you, Estelle, very much. And I believe we have come to the end at 2 hours and 45 minutes. I anticipated this was going to happen. I had a handful of lunch meat and cheese, just crammed it down my throat as I ran for the microphone down here in the bunker. God bless America. I've got to say, I want to thank everyone for the great support tonight, for supporting one another, supporting liberty, supporting our Constitution, and supporting President Trump. Keep being strong, alert, and prepared, because chance favors the prepared mind. And I want to ask the question, is yours? And aren't you glad you are a prepper? Semper Fi. God bless America.